She's got the scoop, community and entertainment. She's in the loop. Every smile a burst of velvet light. Through the screen she shines so bright. With the laughs and tales that weave tonight.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you're tuned into the Kami Grayson Show. And today I have a special friend. She goes by the name of Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson.
Yes.
Welcome, Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank God. I'm doing great.
Oh, good. Well, you look great. I love your outfit. You look just beautiful, just radiant.
Thank you, Kami. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Well, girl, you got a busy resume. I mean, you're into music and all. Just tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, okay. So first of all, thank you so much for sharing space with me on your platform. It's really a privilege, and I thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you. So there's so much to share. Well, first, I was born in Philadelphia, but raised in New Haven, Connecticut. So I'm a Connecticut girl.
Okay.
Yes. Was raised in the church. So, of course, music and the arts were very prominent in my church growing up, as well as in school. I was always a part of anything that was either sport related or music related. I have an undergrad degree from the University of Michigan, and I have a master's of music from Yale University. And I have my doctorate degree from the University of Connecticut, have a doctorate of musical art. And in my studies, it covered things like music theory, languages, vocal pedagogy, all things. I'm an opera singer, but I also sing jazz, and I teach all of the genres because I have students who have many diverse interests in music and vocals and things of that nature. But what I do ultimately is I inspire through music. Is really what
I love it. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
girl, I love opera. I love musicals, so I can hit you with a high pitch real quick. And so so I love it. So is your voice trained for opera?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I started taking voice lessons at 11 years old in New Haven, Connecticut. And that's when I was introduced to Italian arias and Italian composers like Caccini, Pergolesi, Giordano.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was exposed, even though I grew up in the inner city, I was interested in learning things that were outside of my comfort zone.
Culture. Yeah, I love it.
And culture. And so, yes, I'm highly trained. And like I said, I have so many accreditations based on my interest in music and as an opera singer. I actually studied with the first African-American tenor to sing at the Metropolitan Opera. His name is George Shirley.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Yes.
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, can I even envision you on the stage with your opera career? It's just, it's just so much fun just to see that, it coming from the stomach, the diaphragm, just coming out. I love it. You just don't look the part. You just don't. You look too glamorous to be an opera singer.
Oh, really? Oh, listen. Well, you got to meet some of my friends. Oh my goodness. I'm going to throw some names out there so we can, your audience will look their names up. There's this South African phenomenal soprano named Pretty Yende.
Wow.
And my friend Nicole Heaston, who's a phenomenal opera singer. My friend Marsha Thompson. You name it. There are many phenomenal and glamorous Black women out here singing classical music and opera. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, for sure.
You just get that stereotyped, I guess,
For
And
sure.
that to me, looking at you, I know you're a Yale professor and all this stuff, but me looking at you, I can see the jazz singer.
Oh,
in you.
yes.
I can see that,
Oh, yes.
But the opera, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see a clip of you or hear a clip of you singing opera. I would think that would make my day. That would
Well,
make my day.
I'll hit a little note for you a little bit later if you'd like to. I'll sing
Oh,
some
I would love that. I would
great.
absolutely love that. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back. I took over your story.
Oh,
I'm
that's okay.
just
I
so
loved it.
excited about everything. So, okay, so now you went to school. What pushed you into this genre of music? What pushed you into going to school for music?
For opera. Well, exposure, to be quite honest. I mean, like I said, I grew up in the church and all of the sisters could sing. So it was a
Mm,
very integral part of my life growing up in church. The sisters could sing down. So that was culturally just a part of me. But my mom told me when I came home from nursery school one day and I was singing, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, she said, I think that baby can hold a note. I think. So my mother, she said from a young age, I could hold tunes and sing in tune. And it was just something I was blessed to do, but it wasn't developed until I took my first voice lesson at 11
wow.
years old. So it's the exposure, like you said. I'm not the typical opera singer, but in my circles, I'm not unusual. There are many of us out here doing wonderful things in the classical space. So, for me, it's really about exposure. Once you're exposed, because it's hard to be what you can't see.
Hmm.
And see, that exposure is what allowed me to think like, oh, I can sing classical music and still be my whole Black self. I can be a
Yeah.
Black woman and be from where I'm from and sing this style of music. So that's how it started for me, is exposure and taking voice lessons very young.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Because I'm well versed, but like I love musicals.
Yes.
You
I do
barely
too.
can find
Yeah.
African American people who actually like musicals.
Yes.
They
Yes.
will go to stage plays,
Yeah. Yeah.
those
Yeah.
type of musicals, but they won't go to the Grand Ole Opera type musicals. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
They're starting to move into it, like when the Color Purple and things like that.
For sure.
But before all that, right?
Yes.
We just didn't go to we was not exposed to that type of art and culture.
For sure. I think it just depends as well too on your circles, because I was just in New York for a couple of days and I went to see a Broadway play, and I also went to the Met to see an opera. Um, and it was amazing to me how many Black and brown folks you see there. And so I think in major metropolitan areas like New York,
Mhm.
and maybe like LA and places like that, where you will see more of us present
Mhm.
in some
Mhm.
of those spaces. Because I thought the same thing as well too. I didn't see a lot of Black opera singers, and also really very many singers outside of gospel and R&B until I went to college.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when I went to college, I met many Black and brown folks who were conductors, composers, opera
Mm.
singers, jazz singers, musical theater singers. So I think it just depends on your perspectives and your circles and how widely you've been exposed to these things. I didn't know until I was exposed to them, but
Right.
we're
Right.
out here. We out here.
Yeah. And it's amazing though. It's just the times, right? I think the
Yes,
times have changed where
yes,
we are now professors and we are now, doctors at our craft, right?
yes,
The music teachers at schools, at the
yes,
colleges, you know what I mean? And
yes,
so to go beyond that, then, like your Jennifer Hudsons and people just showing us that we can do it,
for sure, for
we
sure.
can do it. Even though I was turned down, guess what? I have a talk show now, you
Listen,
know?
look
And
here.
so we can do it. I guess we shouldn't let things hold us back and tell us that we can't do it.
For sure. And also, too, like I said, you know, exposure and knowing the history. Because one of the classes that I've taught in the past is the evolution of American popular forms of music. And one of the things that I learned in school is Black folks, we've been out here. Like in the 1920s and 30s, we had the Ma Rainey's, we had Bessie Smith, we had Mamie Smith. I mean, Black women were the first to record the blues, and a lot of people don't know this, but it wasn't easy for us now. We had to protect our bodies and our money, and, you know, because Bessie Smith, you know, she used to carry a gun with her.
Oh, yeah.
Bessie Smith owned her own train at that time. It was really extraordinary. Made $2,000 a week at that time, which is a lot of money today.
Oh, yeah.
So we're out here. It's just if it's not being taught, if we don't know that it existed, it could seem as if it's not a thing.
Right.
But when I look back into the early 20th century, with the evolution of just Black people coming out of slavery, and then we had the Reconstruction, and then Jim Crow, and all of these different areas. When we talk about things like zeitgeist, we were out doing the thing, especially in the 30s during the Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
We were out there, sis. So since I've been at Hampton, I've been exposing students to our history in the arts and in the performing arts. Because again, it's hard to be what you can't see. So, yeah.
You know, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to learn Carnegie Hall. I want to learn what that was like, you know?
Okay.
Because that's one of those places that I've never been, and I would love to know, you know, what that's like.
Definitely.
All authors. Is your book ready to go from finished to fully seen? The Kami Grayson PR agency is your partner for premium branding, copyright and trademark guidance, cinematic book trailers, polished author websites, media exposure, and monthly marketing support. We don't just promote books, we build.
Story has a moment when it finally meets the world. And for author Kami Grayson, that moment is now. This book is more than words on a page. It's a journey, a message, a
Okay, if you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tuned in to the Kami Grayson Show, and I have a very special guest who's with me today. She goes by the name of Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson. Yeah. So Dr. Tiffany Renée Jackson was just telling us all about her adventures and her music, and oh my gosh, this lady has a plethora of skills. And so part of her resume here, she mentions Carnegie Hall. I want to know what is that like?
Wow. Well, you know, I remember at that time in my life, I had my debut in 2005. I was in my early to mid 30s. And I was going through a change in my life where all of my formal training was done. And now I'm out here. I'm like, okay, now it's just me. I'm not in the opera house. I'm not in my training, spaces. I'm not in school anymore. And I just signed with a New York agent at the time.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so when I signed with her, then I started to get more exposure in the States, because prior to that, I was singing all over Europe, and her name was Judith Liegner. God bless her soul. She's passed away now. But I remember going to the audition, and when I got the call, I was like, what? My first thing was like, what am I going to wear? What am I going to wear?
That's a women thing. Huh?
What am I going to wear? So I was thinking right away what I'm going to wear. And if when you go to Carnegie Hall, because one day you should go, there are many different venues within Carnegie Hall. Like you have like the main stage, but then you also have these smaller, venues within the main. And so being on that main stage, what it reminded me of is when Duke Ellington performed there. I'm like, I'm in a space where Duke was. I'm in a space where Mahalia Jackson stood. I'm in a space where Leontine Price stood, who was one of the first international Black opera singers. It put me in the mind of the people that came before us.
Yes. The people who paved the way. Yes.
Yes. And I believe the first African-American to sing in Carnegie Hall, certainly opera singer, they called her the Black Patty. She was a phenomenal opera singer, had her own opera company back in the 1920s and 30s. And so she was the first to sing in Carnegie Hall. They called her the Black Patty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why do they call her the Black Patty? Do you know?
Well, I know because, at that time, and even prior to that, like in the 19th and 18th century, many of the singers had names that were sort of not, how can I put this? They represented a Black version of a European version.
Got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I
Right.
think Dream Girls when you said that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yes. 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 They become sort of like that white version of, the Black version of a white version. Yeah. And it's just, when I think about these things, it again reminds me of the shoulders that I stand on.
Mhm.
That's what it reminds me of. And it puts me in a very humble mind, in a humble space. Because when it comes to opera, the most, I would say, important opera house and major opera house in the world is the Metropolitan Opera, and it's in New York City.
Mhm.
And they did not allow Black folks to sing there until Marian Anderson had her debut there. Now, Marian Anderson was an African-American contralto, beautiful voice, who was known for standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial because she was not allowed to sing in Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. So she
Wow.
stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with her floor-length mink singing My Country 'Tis of Thee. She was the first Black person to sing at the Met. And I want to say it was sometime in the 1940s. She was beyond her prime, right? But so the
Mhm.
greatest opera house at one point was a segregated space. So
Wow.
prior to that, Black folks had to either go to Europe to sing, or they had to sing concert music. So the Black Patty is also known as Sissy Aretta Jones was her name. Her birth name was Sissy Aretta Jones. And she created her own opera house and her own company because she was not allowed to sing in the opera houses in the United States.
Wow.
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I think about when I think about Carnegie Hall, is I think about those people upon whose shoulders I stand.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you are out there doing what you do, making us feel good that we do have a spot, in that world, and
Yes.
it's so good. I mean, it's the people that you're training, right? Your students,
Yes.
you're preparing them to be the next generation of you. And
Yes.
so I just think that's amazing that you're able to do that and you actually pursued and kept going. So with that being said, I want to talk about support.
Yes.
What type of support did you have through your journey?
Through my journey, I will tell you that my mom is my hero. If I talk about her too much, I'll start to sob. My mother, who is still with us, my mother is going to be 78 years old. But if it wasn't for that Black woman, because my
Mm,
mom grew up in Jim Crow South, my mother's father was a sharecropper. So my mother picked cotton. See, a lot of times when people think about chattel slavery and slavery, they think about the 18th century, the 19th century. No, my grandfather worked a plantation in the 20th century during my mother's lifetime. So my mother is my hero because she couldn't go to school and she couldn't do the things that, I was given the opportunity to do. She preached education. She's like, y'all
mm,
going to school. Y'all, I don't know where y'all going, but I know y'all going to college. So my
mhm.
mother preached education. My mother is self-taught when it comes to things like etiquette, how to present yourself, how to be respectable. My mother took us to church. My mother is that support base. And still to this day, the decisions that I make, I'm like, oh, my mother will not like that. Like, oh, mommy would like that. My mother is that person, and not even in a generic way. Well, most people will say, like, yeah, my mother. But no, my mom, my mother, she made so many sacrifices for me to be where I am, for my mother to have an 8th grade education and for me to have a doctorate degree. It makes me want to weep, you know,
Wow. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
again, without those examples, that humbles me, because for me, yeah, I'll talk about my credentials all day, but what's most important to me are those relationships that I
Mm,
have with my mom she's that main support for me. And of course, there were people in the community who supported me in New Haven, Connecticut, because, you know, here you got this Black girl raised in the projects singing opera. Like, what? You know, I mean, you know, even lots of like white people supported me, and they were donors, they were benefactors. They bought my recital dresses and gowns. And, you know, I had the support in part because what I chose to do was unique. I know that it's the fact that I'm an opera singer, and that opera was my first choice in terms of a genre, that it made people more interested in supporting me.
Yeah. I
You
can
know?
see that.
Yeah, that my mama is it. And of course, God, you know, I mean, that's my center right there. You know,
Yes.
as a matter of fact, I've been doing some fasting until 6 p.m., been drinking all fluids all day and eating solids after 6. I'm sharing that with your audience because I want to talk about how important it is for us to take care of our spiritual, emotional, and psychological selves, especially in these days and times. It's a lot going on, and people are feeling very heavy and down and depressed and all of that. So, you know, I come against all of that mess. So I've been, you know, kind of turning the plate down all week, eating at 6 o'clock, and I feel good.
That's good. Well, you look good. You look great.
I look like I'm hungry, right? And I am.
No,
But
no, you don't look like you're hungry.
I'm starving. But, you know, to God be the glory. You know, sometimes you got to make those sacrifices, because spiritually right now, I'm like, I got to get endowed because there's too much mess happening around me. And I have some important things coming up in my life. And I don't know if we were going to talk about this, but one of them is which I just got hired to be an assistant professor at Florida State University.
Wow, FAMU, look at you. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's adjacent to FAMU. Florida is FSU, and then FAMU is adjacent. So I'm so glad I still get to be adjacent to the HBCU where I am now.
Oh, wow.
But FSU is definitely a PWI every day, all day. But this is a wonderful opportunity for me. I'm sad because I love my students at Hampton and we've bonded, and but I let my students know that, you know, I'm leaving Hampton, but I'm not leaving you. That's different. Once you make those connections are a lifetime. So I'm grateful. So I'm also sacrificing and consecrating because of where I am about to go.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank
See, like I said, I'm proud of you. I mean, it is so amazing that to see a woman like you who look like us actually living those dreams and making it happen. And so it took you, and like you said, the shoulders that you were standing on to get you there, right?
Yes.
And so, you know, hand up, you know, give people a hand up, and that's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And now your shoulders, you know, people stand on yours, and now students are standing on mine. And, you know, that's why it's important for us to be about that business, because it's harder now than it was when I was younger, you know, because there are so many distractions now for young people, you know, in the arts. One of the things that I am doing to bridge the gap a bit, and I think about maybe 16 or 17 Hampton students are participating. I started a program called the Paris Performance Experience. So I and it's 2 weeks, two intensive weeks of study in France. It's a performing arts festival. And I designed the program, and it's been like a labor of love, but it hasn't been easy. I built my own website, and I'm partnering with a French artist who is wonderful. His name is Kees Rowinga. And and we're bringing a total of over about maybe 50 something students to be in residence to study the performing arts. Phenomenal instructors are coming. Avery Wilson, who is a friend of mine, is coming to work with a few of the students. There's going to be classical, jazz, gospel. I'm going to be doing a series on the business of music. So I'm really proud about, you know, doing this program. It's called the Paris Performance Experience.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, I know before we go, I'm supposed to get a little tidbit of the song, and then, but I do want some words of wisdom before we do that. So
Definitely.
do you,
All
do you
right.
have any words of wisdom?
I do have some words of wisdom. Balance, balance, mind, our body, our spirits. It's important to find that balance. And I think more importantly, spiritually these days, we really have to come into ourselves. And I'm not talking about this from a religious standpoint. I'm just saying that it's hard to love someone or something if you don't love yourself. And so
Wow.
for me, self love and self actualization is about connecting within.
Mm-hmm.
And when we learn how to really live with ourselves, by ourselves, unto ourselves, then we can love better. And we're more adept at saying, no, I don't want that. And yes, I want that. And no, I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say just spiritual and physical health and wellness is 100% what we should be focusing on. While all of this turmoil is going on around us, we have to stand. We have to
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now it's song time.
Yes. So I can sing all kinds of different things. I sing
Okay.
opera, but I'm going to sing a bit of a classical piece. And I think it'll be apropos for me to sing the very first classical song I learned when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
I'll just sing a little snippet of that.
Okay.
Take a little bit, sip of my tea. Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor. Caro mio ben, credimi almen, senza di te languisce il cor.
Oh, I love it. So smooth and clear. I just love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wow. That was amazing. Oh, I
Thank
cannot wait
you.
to hear more of your work. I'm so proud of you. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And
Thank you.
and stay in touch with SKST. Let us know what's going on so we can come back and visit with you again. And if you got any projects coming up, what projects do you have coming up, by the way?
Oh my goodness. So I'm going to be going to Jackson State University the first week in June, and I'm going to be doing some seminars on branding, on the business
Nice.
of music. Yes, the business side of things. As a creative, we sometimes forget, the business side.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be singing a mini concert as well, and maybe doing a small excerpt from my one-woman show I wrote called Rising of the Necessary Diva. So that's coming up. I'm
Okay.
very excited about that. And then, of course, the Paris Performance Experience is July 17th through July the 31st, 2 weeks of teaching and directing in France. Yes.
I
So.
love it. I love it. Tell people how they can get in contact with you.
Definitely. So necessarydiva.net. And necessarydiva@gmail.com. All things Necessary Diva. It's my alter ego. I didn't get to talk much about fitness, but I'm also a bodybuilder.
Wow, girl. How'd you hold that back?
Girl, because we need 2 hours to be talking about all the stuff I got going on.
Well, we definitely have to bring you back.
I would definitely love to. But yeah, fitness is also an important part of my life. And my brand, Necessary Diva, is the opera singing bodybuilder. And I was on America's Got Talent back in 2011, performing as the Necessary Diva.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's how people can contact me. Even if they Google Necessary Diva, they'll see a lot of things come up. But certainly necessarydiva.net is my website.
I love it. Absolutely
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Thank you so much for being on the show today, girl.
Thank you,
You just got my cheeks so tired of smiling right now. Thank you for my song. I love it, love it, love it. I am going to play this over. You will get a copy of this show tonight, and you can repost again. And again, thank you on behalf of SKST Radio Network and Podcast Studios, our team here. Thank you so much, and keep going.
Thank you. God bless.